Explanation. This hadith contains 3 forms of punishment that will happen to individuals from this ummah, including al-Qadz, which is the stoning of stones from the sky. 4. Ati astronomy's theory of the possible fall of sky debris, or pebbles, from the sky. This is closely related to the results achieved by astronomers, which are descriptions built on the phenomena presented by their direct observations. About the probability, or how much potential there is for meteor rocks or other celestial bodies to fall to Earth. I got this data from a science futuristic television program with the title, Dangers Threatening Earth, while the theme of the episode was meteor destruction. A number of renowned scientists and astronomers participated in the program. The importance of this program lies in its timeliness, as it was held in the years after 2000 CE. Moreover, the program enlightened us with the latest results and descriptions produced by astronomers. A summary of the important ideas that the program contains can be presented as follows. Astronomers observed a strange phenomenon near the planet Jupiter in 1994 After extensive analysis, astronomers concluded that the phenomenon was the image of 20 fragments of a meteor that had shattered into pieces on Jupiter's surface. Observations of this phenomenon continued through telescopes and space satellites sent there to study the impact of the meteor impact. Eventually, images were obtained of the meteor impact on Jupiter's surface, clearly showing massive damage and severe fires. The area destroyed on the planet Jupiter by the meteor was about the same size as Earth, or at least about the same size as Earth. After seeing this phenomenon firsthand, astronomers began to think hard about the possibility of the Earth colliding with a meteor or meteors striking the Earth's sphere. Scientists watched as a meteor called the Grand Teton entered the Earth's orbit, burned up as it entered the atmospheric layer, and then exited the atmospheric layer again by changing direction. While observing the journey of the large meteor named by scientists as Meteor 1998, scholars discovered that it was heading straight towards the Earth. Based on the study of its speed and direction of motion, many scientists predicted that it would hit the Earth in 2028 at 2:30 in the afternoon. It was also observed that the meteor changed its direction slightly. Scientists say they find nearly 12 types of dangerous meteors that threaten the Earth every year. The average number of meteors that fall to Earth from each type is around 1,500. This number is very likely to increase. Moreover, there are 20 unidentified or unobserved objects that are feared to hit the Earth. Some astronomers said while analyzing the meteor phenomenon, some meteors have been hitting the globe for 250,000 years, and some may hit the Earth in a few weeks. The phenomenon of meteor impacts is not easy to predict precisely, as some meteors appear suddenly at any time due to the close proximity of their trajectories to the Earth. Nor is it easy to calculate the force of the impact and its impact on the Earth. Another scientist commented that after a meeting of astronomers that brought together many scientists and scholars, a consensus was reached. It is a certainty that we will collide with one of the meteors. Scientists' imaginative description of the systematic impact of falling sky debris or meteors on Earth. The impact of a 1 square mile meteor on the city of Chicago would result in its complete destruction and leave a huge hole underneath. This would be followed by a catastrophic aftermath of mass death and destruction in the surrounding cities. After the fall of the meteor, there was an increase in temperature by several degrees. The fall of the meteor resulted in a huge, thick ring of smoke that enveloped the globe and blocked the sun's rays from reaching the Earth. This smoke continued to envelop the Earth for at least a year. The result will be the aridity of the fields and the total or partial covering of vegetation on the entire surface of the Earth. This will result in a famine of unimaginable severity and devastating impact. Scientists say that meteor strikes in the past caused the end of life on Earth, including the dinosaurs at the time. A scholar says that a single meteor is enough to consume a human life. G. One scientist argues that in its first moments, the falling meteor was capable of killing millions of people at once directly due to its impact. We say, this is the astronomers' strongest and clearest imaginative description. They have built this imaginative description on the basis of what they themselves observed in the form of a devastating impact, which they witnessed in 1994 of planet Jupiter. What happened to Jupiter is not unlikely to happen to the Earth, they believe. The data I have mentioned is based on pure scientific research, having nothing to do with past descriptions and beliefs. By comparing them, we will be able to observe how much they agree with these descriptions and the narrations of the signs of the last days, as will be explained later. B. Summarize the presentations made in this section. 1. The falling of a piece or one of the heavenly bodies is one of the forms of punishment indicated by the Quran, and it will happen. 2. One of the people whose story is told by Allah, the Almighty, regarding the punishment of them with stones from the sky is the people of Luth. 3. The character of the rocks that fell from the sky was not random and accidental, but a punishment from God that occurred solely according to God's will and wisdom. 4. The threat of rocks falling from the sky or debris from the sky is still present today. And there are many verses that explain that feeling safe from it and thinking it will never happen again is a form of ignorance. 5. Some of the signs of the Day of Judgment indicate that the fall of the heavenly bodies will fall on certain individuals from this ummah. We observe from a number of verses that the fall of the heavenly bodies is closely related to the falling of pieces or debris from the sky, under the condition of black clouds that are piled up. This is in accordance with what astronomers have described, that the fall of one meteor is enough to create a thick ring of smoke, which envelops the entire globe of the Earth and blocks the sun's rays from the Earth. 7. We note that the feeling of security from the possibility of falling pieces of the sky or other heavenly bodies that occurs among the disbelievers. And this attitude has been designated as a bad trait by the verses of the Quran, because they consider distant the dangers that are near and threatening them at all times. This sense of security comes about because of their ignorance. It is also learned that the people who fear the fall of this heavenly body the most and observe it the most at all times are astronomers. That is because they saw for themselves the indications and evidence that confirmed the occurrence of the event. B. Add Dukhan sign of smoke and its relation to the Dajjal and the dropping of pieces from the sky. It is well known that the sign of smoke and the Dajjal are two of the many signs of the great day of judgment. This discussion contains ijtihad in understanding what is meant by the sign of smoke. This ijtihad is based on the Quranic verses that indicate the signs of the last days. In addition, it includes a number of atsar of the Salaf scholars that show the connection between the sign and the dropping of fragments or pieces from the sky. And then it is completed with a number of indications related to this topic, as a supplement to the fourth introduction in the last discussion, about the description of this sign of the last days, and its connection with the sign of the appearance of the Dajjal. Of course, this ijtihad is only a possibility, not a certainty. A detailed explanation of this is provided in the following two sections. 1. The most important meanings contained by a Dukhan sign of smoke and how far it relates to the pieces of heaven. Allah Almighty says, "So wait for the day when the sky brings a clear smoke. They pray, O sustainer of the natural world, remove from us the punishment. Surely we will believe. How can they take warning when there has come to them a messenger who gives an explanation?" Then they turned away from him and said, "He is a man who receives teachings from others and a madman. Indeed, if we were to remove the torment a little, you would surely return to disbelief." Ad Dukhan 10-15. Explanation. The meaning of this series of verses has been explained in the previous discussion. There, the conclusion was reached that this sign does not occur in its true form, as indicated by the sentence pattern in the above verses. However, The correct opinion is that this smoke sign is designated as one of the 10 major signs of the Day of Judgment. What helps us to understand this is the explanation of the key points that this verse contains, including the following. A. Allah's words to his prophet, then wait. This is an indication that this sign must happen, it cannot be helped. B. The description of the smoke as mubin real, bright, means that it is clear. There is an indication that this smoke is real smoke, true smoke, not something that is fantasized in people's vision as if it were smoke. Otherwise, if it were not real smoke, the verse would not have described it as mubin clear, manifest, bright. This verse clearly indicates that the source of the smoke is the sky, meaning that it comes from above. But the source does not have to be from outside the air layer or its atmosphere. One who observes the Quranic method of explanation will find that when the Quran talks about rain, it attributes the source of the rain to the sky, when in fact the rain is born on earth, but the normal rainfall is from above, so it is attributed to the sky. C. From this verse, it is clear that the smoke envelops people. This envelopment has a number of meanings, including coming, covering, and fear. This means that the smoke came to the people so that they saw it with their eyes. Then it covered them or enveloped them from above. All of these meanings indicate that the smoke, in reality, envelops people or covers them from above, so that they cannot see. D. The description of the smoke as a painful punishment is a clear indication that the smoke is a terrible punishment that befalls people. This is because it is Allah, may He be glorified and exalted, who characterizes this punishment as painful and grievous. E. The people's supplication to Allah to remove this punishment with the promise that they will become believers implies that these events are great. People have no place to escape from them, except by seeking refuge in Allah, the Almighty. Their situation is like that of the passengers of a ship that is about to sink. Then they find that no one can save them from Allah's punishment except Allah. The pattern of this sentence shows that their faith is a faith of necessity. It is strong when there is a great calamity, but it declines and disappears when it is safe. F. Allah's statement that He will remove the punishment for a short time indicates that this event is close in time to the hour, which is a great calamity. This is the clearest meaning indicated by the verses, which point to a true smoke that is clear, unmistakable, even if only two people state that it is smoke. This smoke will hit the earth and obscure the sight of people. It is made clear by the existence of this great torment. Hence people seek refuge in Allah, that He may remove this torment from them. The verses explain that the torment will disappear from them for a while, which indicates the proximity of the event to the Day of Judgment. Meanings of this nature have never happened, and the hints of these verses indicate that it is bound to happen. Allah, the Almighty, says, "So wait for the day when the heavens will bring a clear smoke." At Dukhan 44:10. Abdul H. ibn Mulaka reported, "I went early in the morning to see Ibn Abbas, may Allah be pleased with him, one day, and he said, 'I did not sleep tonight until morning.' I asked him, 'Why?' I asked, 'Why?' He replied, 'People say, the tailed star appeared tonight. I feared that it had appeared, so I did not sleep until I entered the morning.'" This answer was narrated by Al-Hakim, Al-Fitan. He said, "It is Sahih based on the conditions of two sheikhs." We say, this is a Sahih report from the Hibrul Ummah, the ink of the Ummah, because of his vast knowledge and a commentator on the Quran, Ibn Abbas, may Allah be pleased with him. It contains some great clues, the most important of which is the link between the rising of the tailed star and the sign of smoke, which is considered one of the signs of the Day of Judgment. Perhaps the close connection between these two things indicates the nature of the relationship between them, namely, that the rising of the star is the cause of the appearance of the sign of smoke. In addition, there is also a sign that the smoke sign indicates future events. Otherwise, Ibn Abbas would not have been afraid of what people said about the appearance of the star. This hadith also contains a clue that guarantees that the sign of smoke will occur before the Dajjal comes out. Otherwise, the jurist and the ink of this ummah would not have been afraid of the appearance of the tailed star, because he would have known that there are some events that have not occurred before this sign, such as the Dajjal, for example. Ibn Abbas' fear is evidence that he believed the smoke sign occurred before the appearance of the Dajjal. This is consistent with the hadith containing the 10 major signs of the hour, which mentions the sign of smoke before the Dajjal. This is also consistent with the Prophet peace and blessings of Allah be upon him testing Ibn Shayyad with the smoke sign, because he thought he was the Dajjal. Ibn Abbas' statement is also in accordance with the description of astronomers and their conclusion that there will be a very terrible situation due to the appearance of smoke covering the Earth's sphere, a situation sometime after the fall of the meteor to the Earth. Ali ibn Abdullah ibn Abbas reported, "The Mahdi will not come out until the sign that accompanies the rising of the sun appears." Reported by Abdurrazzaq in his Mushanaf, and Nuwaym in al-Fitan. Al-Bustawi said about this atzar, "The chain of transmission is Sahih, and the narrators are all Sahih." See al-Bustawi, Al-Mahdi al-Muntazar 220.